Hello, everyone. Hello. We'll go ahead and let everyone get in and get settled. Hi, Amanda. Yay, Amanda's here early so she doesn't forget. Oh, Karen, I understand that. Karen says she has thunderstorms. Yeah, we've been getting those too. It hasn't been too bad, though. So we ready to talk about books tonight? We're going to talk about books tonight. We're going to make a cute, gorgeous card, if I do say so myself. And yeah, we're going to have lots and lots of fun. So this is tonight's bundle. Let me just kind of pull up all the info for you. Some of it is from the brand new Page Turner collection, and I mix and matched the new larger stamp set from the Page Turner collection with some other products. The whole bundle tonight is $75, but you get free card bases for tonight. Hey there, Shalana. Penny said, countdown to CYOE. You betcha. We're going to have a ball. I'm so excited. Let's see. We have 4 days, right? So tonight's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and by this time on Friday, we will be there. Yay! Yes. So I am a huge reader, Joanne. Joanne says her entire family is a reader. I am a huge reader, and my oldest son, he absolutely loves audiobooks. So tonight's bundle, the new product is the stamp set called Literally the Best. And in addition to the stamp set, part of tonight's bundle is also the SVGs to be able to cut and stamp. So that is it. This is my favorite stamp set from the new release. My favorite, 100%. I love all these awesome sentiments. I love all the images. It is so cute. Love this stamp set. We're going to pair the stamp set tonight with this Enchanted Forest die. It's a one-piece die. We're going to do a little bit of paper piecing and have some fun with it. And we have 3 colors of cardstock. Lunch bag, Scarlet, and Harvest. Shalana says she is CYOE ready. Me too. I am much, Amanda says I'm much more into books than mermaids. Same, girl. Same. Yes, Shalana's coming to CYOE too, so I'll get to see her too. We will all be together in 4 days. 4 days? 3.5 days? The last thing in tonight's bundle are these card panels. These are the Storybook Forest card panels. So card panels are sized 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. They are completely, totally, and utterly ready to go onto a page. This pack contains 8 designs, 1 of each, which means the one that I used for the example card isn't here because I already used it. So we have to pick one of these. And they're single-sided, so you don't have to make hard decisions. So let's see. Which one do we think? I want a deer. So we have one of these two, either this one or this one. And I think I'm going to go with this one. Although this one's really cute too. No, let's go with this one. And if you want to see the 8th one, I will show you in just a second. I'll pull this. So this is kind of like a sneak peek at the card we're going to make tonight. And then you can see in the background, that's the 8th design for the Storybook Forest card panels. We're going to use this one tonight. We're also going to use some Distress Oxide ink and Vintage Photo. Hi, Jerry. Yes, Penny, these are so cute. These storybook card panels are adorable. I got them when they were first released, and I never got around to using any of them. So when I saw they were still in stock, I was like, yep, we're using those tonight. Penny says she loves when her books are with her everywhere through her iPhone, iPad, and that she loves to read too. Okay, so here are my question. I'm going to go ahead and just ink the edges here. Just going to get a little bit of ink around the edges. And here's my question. So I also read primarily through my iPad or my iPhone. I know a lot of people use the Kindle app for ebooks. I use the Barnes and Noble app, the Nook app, simply because the first e-reader I ever got was a Nook, and that was where I started building my ebook collection. And once I had started it in one spot, started building my ebook collection at Barnes and Noble, and through Nook, I was like, no, I'm not gonna switch over to Kindle now. Not happening. So that's where I get all my books from. I also get ebooks. I also get advanced readers copies from NetGalley. I also really like a good physical book too. I tend to like, one of my favorite books was The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. And so I had that as an ebook, but I bought the hard copy cover of that book with the sprayed edges. Love it. So those kinds of books, like the special books, I like in hard copy. So here's the little card panel. I'm going to just set this aside. And then I went ahead and cut from the Enchanted Forest die set. I cut it once from the lunchbox, once from the Scarlet, and once from the Harvest. The lunchbox color is going to be our background, and then we're going to cut these two apart and kind of paper piece them on. So like we're going to give our little mushrooms some red caps. We're going to add our bunny and our squirrel over here. They actually are going to end up being covered up, but you know, you wouldn't have to. You could create your card however you want. And those different things. So I'm going to start with the red, and I'm going to cut apart pieces of the red and put it onto the lunchbox one. And while we do that, we can talk about books. So I like both physical books and e-reader books. Does anyone do Goodreads? I have a Goodreads account. I also get advanced readers copies of books from NetGalley. See where else I get books. I think that's about it. What kind of books does everybody like? I am a mystery, thriller, historical fiction girly. Those are my favorites. There we go. Oh, Penny, yes, I do that too. Penny says she gets books from the library. I do that too. I do everything. The least expensive way for me to find a book. I only invest in like the good copies when I've already read it and I know that I really like it and I want to read it again. Just a second. My glue press is acting up. I think that my glue is almost out. I think that's my problem. So I'm I cut the red caps off of the mushrooms, and now I'm just putting them on here. You can do this with any kind of die set that you think that you want to have more color. Just cut it out of a couple of different colors of cardstock, and then choose one to be your background, and then you can cut it all apart and layer it on top. Really easy, and it adds, you'll see when we're all done, like it adds so much to this die set. You can kind of color coordinate it. I have pretty much stuck to the same couple of genres, although I do really I like a good nonfiction history book. History fascinates me. I think I've talked about that before. History and ancestry and all that kind of stuff. I really like those kinds of topics, so I do tend to flip between all those genres. Although I have a friend who has been trying to convince me that I need to read what is it called? Romantasy books, where it's like a romance novel, but like fairies or aliens or something. So we might try one of those. I don't know yet. I don't know how I feel about that. So we could keep going. We could add lots more red. Any of these little leaves could be red. Any of that. I just kind of like this area. And then for the harvest one, the harvest cardstock, I'm going to cut out the squirrel and the rabbit. And I'm going to cut out this large leaf and this small leaf and maybe a couple more, like to get some more color up in here. But we'll start with that and see where we go. Hi, Candy. It's all right. I don't mind if you're late. Yeah, I like Penny. We should compare family trees. I do all that ancestry too with my family. All that history stuff totally fascinates me. So we'll get our little bunny. And we'll get our little squirrel. Penny, she's the best. What author? Oh, Nora Roberts. Okay. I had to like go up and make sure that I missed that part. Hi, Julie. I miss Julie coming in too. I have to catch up on my comments. I've actually. Oh, yeah. So Mishler is, because it's my married name, I don't have a lot of that in like that side. But my side of the family, no one ever left Pennsylvania. Like no one ever left Pennsylvania. I've gone back so many generations. And a lot of my family were like, because they didn't leave, there's like There's a lot of Quakers in my family tree and Pennsylvania Dutch. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Some of the like really cool stuff I found from my family. One of my ancestors was the first, came to Pennsylvania in the 1600s, and he was the first person to manufacture or make pipe organs in the United States. Isn't that cool? That's cool. That's my little trivia for today, I guess. Yeah, we should compare family trees, Penny. I have lots and lots of Pennsylvania. It's like it's all Pennsylvania. I agree, Jerry. She said she likes to listen to autobiographies. Yep. My favorite author is Kate Morton. She does historical fiction. Kristen Hanna is slowly passing her up, I will say. But Kate Morton has been, she's from Australia, and she has just beautiful, beautiful stories. I love her writing. Okay, so here's what this looks like now that it is all paper pieced. So see how we added the harvest cardstock on top of some of the animals, some of the leaves. We have the little pops of red. And then when you put all that lovely, like different color onto the card panel, and you have that little deer. Isn't that adorable? So, so cute. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit, and you could do any colors. So you could, if you wanted something that looked a little bit more colorful, you could do brown and then paper piece over it with green so that you had something that's more of like a spring. You probably could just cut this in brown, green, and then, you know, something for the little animals. And you could have something that looks completely different. So I think for myself, when I paper piece something like this, I want 3 colors. A main color for the background piece, and then 2 colors. I think 2 colors is like the perfect amount of interest where it's still interesting, but it doesn't kind of take over. So the next thing we want to do is get our sentiment into place. So I'm going to grab my Misty. And I put my stick and stamp mat in my Misty because I have found that since I started cutting SVGs and I have the SVG pieces to stamp on, they turn out so much better and so much like straighter with a stick and stamp mat that holds them down. So I'm going to put my little card panel in here, and then I'm going to put this, but I'm not going to glue it down just yet. I'm just going to kind of get this centered where I want it, and then we can pick a sentiment. So for the example card I used, Magic always starts with page 1 because it just snuggled in there. And I think that's the one we're going to be using. Your Classic also works, but the idea is that we're going to stamp our sentiment in here, and it's going to just snuggle up and become part of the rest of the design of our card. So then I'm going to close the MISTI so it catches my sentiment, but then I'm going to take this piece off. That's not going to work. I just refilled my ink pad, and I only put like the tiniest bit of ink on it because I didn't want it to be mushy. If you know, you know. But it seems like it's still mushy. Because they just put like a whole mass of ink on my stamp. And if I put that much ink on my stamp, we're going to smoosh it. It's going to be bad. It's going to make a huge mess. I don't want a huge mess. I want a lovely stamped image. See, and then that's not going to be enough. So we're going to do this like 18 times, right? Slow and steady. Slow and steady. Oh, that is so cool, Candy. Candy says she has a grandfather that helped find San Diego and an Indian princess in her family. That's awesome. So my husband, now not me, my husband, his grandfather, one of his ancestors, was they lived in New York City, and he designed all of the lighting for the Brooklyn Bridge. So all the night light, all the lighting that goes on the bridge at night for the cars to see and stuff, he designed all of the lighting for the Brooklyn Bridge. How cool is that? So if you don't know how to do, if you've never used a stick and stamp mat, don't be afraid. Bend it so that your paper comes off nice and easy. So there is our sentiment. I'm going to leave this here because we are going to go ahead and I have done some of this. So we do have, we're going to do some magic of TV here. And I have to use baby wipes tonight because my stamp things are washed, getting washed. Okay, so I'm going to put this over here where it belongs. And if you're thinking to yourself, that's what she said 2 weeks ago, you're right, but I used them and then they got really dirty again and they need washed. So what I do is when I cut the SVG files, I cut them all a couple of times and then I put the little blanks in the back of the stamp. So they're always together. So what I have here is I have just a blank. And again, love stick and stamp mats because it's going to just hold on to this. Then I can wiggle and move my stamp until it's just perfect. And then I can get it perfectly into my little cut file. This particular one with all the books is super easy because of this top piece. So it has all the little pages. And if you line those pages up, then the rest of it is just lined up for you. So once you get like those top page pieces lined up, the rest is super easy. And if you want like a detailed how-to with the SVGs, Candy did a video over on her channel. I think it was on her channel, or was it on the Bruce Monroe channel? But Candy, if you want to link, since you're here and you're fabulous, if you want to link that one up in case anyone has questions about how to do it, because you did such a good job. Like, that was the best little video. I might get my fuzzy head in here. There we go. You really need to get on top of it to see and make sure you've got it exactly where it needs to be. And then I'm going to go ahead and stamp this a couple of times so I get a nice, crisp, clean image. And we are not going to color this on camera. I use water-based color. And I need to wait for the detail and here before I start adding water-based markers to my stamped images. Go ahead and get this stamped. See how nice that, I love these, by the way. They're lovely. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So there is the link that we need for the SVG video. That is a really good resource. You can add it, have like a watch later list of things. And I use that one to save videos that I think I'm going to come back to over. And that's a really, really good one for that. Here's our stack of books, all stamped up. And then, Penny, it's time for our it's time for the birds, Penny. Here is our stack, all colored. Look how I did that. Ta-da! All colored, all ready to go. So cute. So the last thing we're going to do is put our card all together, but we're going to add some white detail. So here's how it would look, just plain. But we're going to add some white detail with some white ink on it. Tonight's project is easy. Well, the hardest part's the coloring, and I did that off camera. I don't think I could color and talk at the same time. I truly, truly don't think I could. I think that I would be like totally, I think that would be like the absolute worst. Is if I tried to color and talk at the same time. But I think I can add white gel pen to areas. So the gel pen I have is the Jelly Roll, and it's a size 10. Whether that makes a difference or not, I don't know. And then you can see I have a scratch paper that I use because, you know, white ink pens. That's all I have to say about that. So now I'm just going to use my little example as a guide. So I don't have to think too hard, and then I can talk and just kind of copy what I did here so that I don't have I don't get lost. And I'm not doing a lot of like really, you know, like real like swirls or like lots of lines. I'm just adding little dots to some of these. And then again with the coloring, so when I know I'm going to add white dots to something I've colored, I color it up and then set it off to the side where it can thoroughly dry, because I find that I get the best white lines that way, like when everything is really dry and then you kind of add the white on top. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. And you can see here there are two colorways I did this book. So you can do your book any colorway. Oh, Penny, that's a great idea. Penny says when I've filled up my doodle page, I could use it as a background. I bet I totally could. You're right. That's a great idea. We're going to do it. That would be awesome. You see how big this paper is. So, like, it's going to take me a while to fill it up, but that's an awesome idea. I love it. So you can see here, I'll just bring this up to the camera so you can get an idea of the different colorways, slightly different colors between the two sets of books. These are a little lighter. These are a little darker. So in the description box below, you will find a link to the bundle for tonight. And if you purchase a bundle tonight, you will get a free package of card bases, which we're going to use the card bases too. Okay. Oh, that's a good idea too. And he says I can make bookmarks. I can do a lot with that paper. Now I'm like, I want to put white gel pen on everything so I can finish up my little doodles. We're going to have fun with, because this is actually, so this is half a sheet of Raven cardstock. So if I keep doing this, you guys can follow along while I do all this. And then one day during a live, we're going to cut this down and use it. So if you've looked, have you guys looked at the new book release yet? Did you see the little acetate bookmarks? So here's a little sneaky peek. Our project next Monday is going to include those little acetate bookmarks. And we're going to play with them and make a little card that includes a gift. So be sure to come back next Monday and check that out, because it's pretty cool. So here is our card panel for the front. And it can fit right on our card base. And then the next part is our little die cut. This die cut is, or die is so delicate, but so cute. Tonight's card will cover up our little squirrel and the little bunny, but we added a deer. So you could definitely not have the extra piece on here. So you could get the bundle and then you could skip the book. You could skip the book completely and just have the die set on the card panels with the paper piecing and the white gel accents. Okay. So look how cute, just like that. And then you could be done. You wouldn't even need to add the extra little stack of books if you wanted. You could stop right there and have the cutest card. And then you also have all these other card panels in the bundle. So you could, I thought about using this one. So this one, you would have your little squirrel and your bunny down here. And then you would have all of these different options to create with. And then here's our little. Yes, you could. You could. Julie has a really great idea. She said you could cut the books in half, which you absolutely could. And you could cut them in half and tuck them under the die. So they're kind of on here. Absolutely. You also have on this stamp set, there is a lot you can do with the book tonight's bundle. Like there's a lot. So there's also this book stamp that's kind of like instead of it stacked, it's more across. So you could take something like that and you could tuck it in on this side and have a completely different look. So you would have, there's lots of options and design ideas for the set of products for tonight. I think you could do a lot with them. When I put the bundles together, I always like to, we do our example card live, but then I always do like to give you guys products and then other options during the live, because that way you know that if you get a bundle, you've got some different ideas, right? You're not going to buy a bundle and then just have this one card you can make with it, right? We want to have more than one style, more than one design, more than one card that we can make. So there is the example piece. Oh, Cooper. Shush. No. No. Quiet. Logan, you might have to take him out. Here. Oh, we almost made it. We almost made it to the end of the live. Thank you so much. Yes, Julie said so many options. It looks fantastic. Yep. So many options with tonight's bundle. So there's the cards for tonight. We are finished early. So if you have any questions and you want to pop them into the comments. I think Cooper's decided we're going for an early live tonight. He would like to bark now. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Oh, thank you for popping the link to the acetate bookmarks. Yes, we are going to play with those acetate bookmarks next Monday. I'm going to show you a great way to use them. We're going to do a card design. It's going to be so much fun. So thank you so much for joining me tonight, everyone. And you have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Just see.